How you doing? Steve Taylor with Thinq HR Insurance Services. Today, we're going to go over Insperity. So what we're going to focus on is, hey, who does Insperity serve? How do they transform your businesses? What services are they offering? How is their service model delivered from a pricing standpoint, from an administrative standpoint, and how many touches do you actually get? And then where do you get custom pricing for Insperity? How do you figure out what the price is for your firm? We're going to dive into all that and more today. But first, let's go after who is this for? Is it for the founder of a startup or a founding team? Yes. Is it for a startup focused on HR professionals, right? If your HR team is just starting, maybe you got one person, or you hired somebody that's SHRM certified, they're brilliant, they're great, but they can't seem to get it all done themselves. This is a perfect product for them. Also, if you have a full-blown HR team, this is also a good product for you. Why? Because it's fully robust. I mean, Insperity's probably got one of the most impressive engines as far as the product offerings that they have, from the e-learning platform to the payroll functions to their workers' comp policies that they have and the risk management systems that they have. They're really a great team. Now, as far as a startup coming on, what does that mean? That's like 1 to 10 employees. Why would that be good? Well, Insperity is one of the very few PEOs that will allow you to come onto their platform with less than 10 lives. I mean, it doesn't happen too often. Main reason is all the administrative burden that goes around that. However, Insperity does a great job of working with founders and startups because they've uniquely positioned themselves to work with white collar, blue collar, gray collar, a variety of different types of businesses. And I feel like they've got HR down to a science. So they're likely not shy and know that they can work with people to help them grow. If you're on the open market and you're looking to transition onto a PEO, I think Insperity is a phenomenal choice for you. Why? Because they're going to help you streamline a lot of those pieces of technology that you need. So, like in HR solutions, when you look here, let's see, it's not popping down. Well, let's go down a little bit here. See, they have employee benefits, HR admin, risk management, tech, support, talent management, basically anything that you'd be doing at the company, they can help out. They typically, I think it's two different segments they focus on, 0 to like 150. Yeah, here it is. 5 to 150, and then 150 to 5,000. But I have seen them work with people and some of my clients in certain situations where they're a little bit under five and they'll scoot them across the finish line for you. But some of the other services that they do offer, if you're on the open market and you're not quite sure if the PEO is right for you yet, they do have insurance services, recruiting services, payroll and human capital management offerings, and then also 401k TPA. So a lot of interesting little things that they got here at Insperity. They also are publicly traded, so you can always check out on their website in the investor relations, how is their company doing? I love looking at those things. So what else? If you're currently on a PEO, is it worth it to maybe switch? Well, if you're thinking about transitioning from another PEO, quite frankly, Insperity is going to be the PEO of PEOs as far as how much support you get. I find Insperity to be a little bit more expensive than most PEO options, but that's because they truly do have a professional service model that allows them to give you more of that white glove service. If you have slip, trips, and falls, if you have issues with your workers' comp, they work with you. Their HR team is pretty adamant about being there for the customers and helping you guys through any and all situations that are agreed upon in the service contract. How do they price? Oh, you know what? Last thing, if you are transitioning, you're just like, I'm done with PEOs. I never want to work with them again. Then honestly, Insperity is probably not the right thing for you because they're mainly focused on the PEO model. So if you want to carve out your workers' comp, you want to carve out your medical, but you still like the PEO model, this is a great thing. It'll work just like an ASO, except for you'll be able to leverage some of those liabilities and some of that risk transfer over to their team. And let's see the pricing. Do they do per employee per month or do they do a percentage? Well, the Insperity bill for some people is a little complicated because it has a percentage of payroll. However, I would not worry about it being a percentage of payroll. I would look at the bottom line. If you put in X amount of gross payroll in, how do you normalize that data and compare it to your other PEO that's in per employee per month. At the end of the day, it really just matters what's that admin fee. Most PEOs are trying to get anywhere between $1,200 to $3,000 a year in admin. Just depends on the overall profitability of the group. So again, don't be shy if somebody is billing percentage of payroll. It's just a little bit complicated, and you got to roll up your sleeves. As far as benefits, they're able to carve out the benefits, or they can write you directly on their plans. They can also allow you to work with your brokers and do an open market quote or carve that piece out. You can do the same for workers' comp, because some of you have risk. You might have risk that just honestly does not make sense for the PEO to come on or to take on, but it still might make sense for all the other reasons a PEO is great, like admin, payroll taxes, timing of payments, response to unemployment claims, all those pieces. How do they deliver their services? So the technology platform they have it is robust. I would say it's worth taking a demo after you get a chance to see if they can price you out or not. They've been around since 1986, so they've been around longer than I've been alive. Shout out to all the 88 folks. Um, I thought this said they were in 80 different states. I was going to say that's a new one. I'm in 80 different states. I'm in the future and the past. Um, yeah, with Insperity, the other piece is when they deliver their services, they have the HRIS technology platform. They also do a lot of integrations and APIs. So you can integrate with your QuickBooks, you can integrate with Greenhouse, you can integrate with, Oracle. I believe there's a million different ways that you can integrate your systems. And then they also have CSV files that you can transpose data into their system on. Again, I would say that if you're really looking to create an employee experience and you're really looking for training and certifications, I believe you can, even if you're in HR, get your SHRM certification through the courses that you can take on their library. So I like Insperity for a lot of reasons. One of them being that they do give you a lot for the service. They're not just a tech play or for folks who are just trying to get better benefits. I think that they do a really unique job about making better operators. That's what I want to say. As far as the employees, what services do they get? Well, the employees can actually chat. They can reach out directly. They can sign in here and get access to all their information all in one spot. If you're working with a broker, they can reach out to the broker. But honestly, I always recommend reaching directly to Insperity, just because they're going to have all the answers. They're doing the Ben admin 9 times out of 10. They're able to access the W-2s, all the info. If you need help figuring out where your 401k is, they can help you with that if you're doing the 401k through them. And then the other piece is, how do you get a quote with Insperity? So you have to go through a sales process, and there's 2 ways to do it. You can go directly through Insperity. But again, if you are working to get multiple quotes and you are looking at multiple vendors for the PEO, then you want to make sure that you're creating a world-class experience, not only for you, but for your employees. So if you have 50 hours, if you have 6 weeks, if you know exactly how a PEO and their 90 different product offerings and more actually impact your employees or your team, then I say go ahead and do it. But realistically, you probably don't, right? So that's why I started Thinq HR and Insurance Services. One of the things we do is a PEO audit. I worked at all the big players. I worked at Paychex. I worked at ADP as a director of sales at TriNet. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I love picking through the service offerings, picking through the different plans, seeing which PEO is right for you. Because I'm never going to bash one PEO over the other, because it really depends on the resources that you guys have, the demographics of your group, and then what are your real needs for the HR. So, if you seriously need any help or you want to just talk about it, I mean, shoot, schedule 15 minutes on my calendar. You can reach me on the link below. You can go to www.thinq insurance.com, or you can reach me directly on my email, steve@thinkinsurance.com. On our call, I typically like to define what's our project outcome going to be if we decide to look at this PEO. Are we looking to save money? Do we want to enhance the benefits? Do we just want to try something new? Where's the business going? Is this something we're going to keep in the next 2 or 3 years? Then from there, we want to see, well, what are the timelines going to look like based off of this benefit start date we look at? Does it make sense for us to work together? If not, totally okay. My personal goal in these first calls is to see what you're up to and do you have the capacity to, take on all this work. If you don't, we can work together and take over the full RFP process, vet all the PEOs, get your pricing, and see which one makes the most sense for you. But Insperity is definitely somebody that we keep on the list because they're one of the larger PEOs and they do a great job of working with their clients. And it's been a pleasure to work with them thus far. So if you have any other questions, let us know. Steve at Thinq HR and Insurance Services. This was a review of Insperity High Level. We'll talk soon.